there's a really positive vibe going on in this room, and we want to keep it going a little bit longer. I'm Phil Oakley, this is Frankie Haugen, and we're going to do a few more interviews.
We are. I'm a bit speechless though.
You're never speechless.
I know, I don't know what's happened, but it's an absolutely incredible event. But luckily, I don't have to worry about being the only one that's speaking. We've got some great guests with us for the next 15 minutes, so let's get started.
Okay, luckily I've got a chatterbox with me. I've got Jason Longhurst from Prologis in the UK. Jason, what did you think of Tony?
Who?
Tony Blair?
Oh, Sir Tony Blair. Sir Tony Blair, excellent.
Sure. Yeah, what do you think?
He was good. I think it gives us that perspective globally and really that leadership bit. So we've had everything from Sir Tony, so I think that's really good, and it gives us a reflection of the sort of times we're living in. So sure. Excellent.
Did you feel that he showed a grasp of the logistics sector as a whole?
I think the next industrial revolution was absolutely key for AI and where we're going to go. So I think that and the discussions about what we should be looking at in terms of what's next, I think that was great.
Okay. And your interactions with politicians in the UK, do you get the sense that there is an acceptance of the critical infrastructure that logistics provides?
Yeah, we were government yesterday, so we met with the Chancellor, and that was great to get an understanding that they do get the sector, they do understand our customers and where we're going to go. Okay. And I think that's really critical to what we're going to see in the future as we go forward. Sure.
And any final takeaways from the day?
I just can't believe the cross-sector of people that we've had here, and to end with Tony Blair and I don't know who the last bloke was, but Bear Grylls was fantastic.
Yeah, I thought he was pretty impressive. Jason, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Frankie?
Well, I'm joined by Jeremy Gregory for MIT Sustainability Consortium. Jeremy, what would be your main perspective from the energy panel in particular today?
Yeah, there were a couple of key points that I thought were really interesting. One of them was I thought that emphasis that we don't have to think about sustainability and profits as separate. Yeah. Rather, there's a lot of opportunities to think about both of those together. And in fact, when we're trying to reduce impacts, that's often going to lead to cost reductions as well. I thought another really interesting point is that sustainability is rarely about one company's operations. It usually is going to expand across a whole value chain. And so that means you're not just working directly with your own company, you're working with suppliers and customers as well. And we saw that a lot from Schneider Electric.
Yeah, definitely. There was a lot of discussion in that panel in particular, but was there any areas in particular that you thought weren't covered or that we should consider?
Yeah, I think a really important point is that we really need a cross-sectoral approach, which is really neat to see because a lot of those people from different sectors are here in the room. So, we talk a lot about logistics, but that also means we need trucking, we need government in terms of regulations, we also need energy suppliers. There's so many opportunities for partnerships, and that's a neat thing about this event to bring all those people together.
Yeah, I agree. I think it was discussed in another panel about collaboration. So just like you said, bringing it all together is really key to making an impact and making it happen. Yeah. Thank you for your time.
You're welcome.
Phil?
I've got a quick question. You mentioned the cross-sector. We're a global economy, right? What are the sectors that you heard about today really floated your boat? What was that really hooked you into the conversation?
Yeah, certainly we talk a lot about real estate, but energy is critical for that.
Yep.
And although Prologis really is founded a lot on warehouses, data centers is another key sector for Prologis that we're seeing as well. And so it's interesting to think about how data centers will be both a customer for Prologis, but they also will be a key partner in terms of driving that AI that Prologis will use to drive decisions.
Yeah, absolutely. The word data just keeps on coming back again and again and again, and you can't have data without energy. It's so interlinked.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much.
Yeah,
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
I'm joined by Carolina. Carolina, you're working for Prologis out in Central Europe.
Indeed. Hi, Phil.
Thank you for joining me for a couple of questions. What were the inspirational moments for today that you've taken away?
Well, the entire event was very inspirational, right, as it should be. But if I would have to pick one particular conversation, I would say that was the one with our CEO, Hamid Moghadam, and Sir Tony Blair, on the leadership in the changing world, how they set super high standards, how they basically create a very clear vision into the future, and they also gave us a little bit more of their insights into the AI and data.
I think if you're going to learn anything, you learn from the people that have been there and done it, and they're both very, very experienced people in their own different areas. We talked earlier on, and you were saying how again, I'm going back to that word data. I've said it too many times, perhaps today, but it's been a really core topic. How does data, and what's your view on data collection, application?
Well, this is a topic which is very dear to my heart in everything what I do on a daily basis. And we've seen that basically flowing through the conversation all day long, starting from the panel which Dan ran through, and we've heard how data, collecting data, putting it all in systems together can really help us optimize the logistics as systems. We've heard later on how innovation around data can basically lead to creation of new businesses like Relay.
Yep.
And later on, Hamid and Sir Tony Blair actually showed us different applications of data. So around policy making, around crime protection, around health systems. And this is the one which is really super interesting because, I love KPIs, and there was a really nice KPI mentioned today, and I hope that data is going to help us hugely in making that KPI around saving lives.
Saving lives. That personalized healthcare.
Yeah.
AI is not all bad. Progress, the curve is up and onwards. For me, that was a really particularly important point for them to make on the panel. Any other final thoughts before we go on to our final interview?
I'm just super, interested in terms of where AI and data technology and data innovation is going to lead us in the future.
Yep.
That's something what I'm very, passionate about in my day-to-day life. So it was very interesting to hear about other applications throughout the entire event.
I think with all the data, thank you very much, Carolina. With all the data collected, we've got to be prepared to fail with it as well. Bear Grylls just spoke at the end about being ready to fail, prepared to fail, but we will fail, and then we'll get to the right answer with that data. So
you just need to fail fast.
Fail fast and move on. Yeah. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you. Frankie.
Well, I've got a very exciting guest with me. I have Andrew Blevins, who focuses on our life sciences business here at Prologis UK. So today on the health section in particular, there was a lot of conversation, great panel, stats galore. But what would you say was your main takeaway from that session?
Thank you, Frankie. And what a great day it was. A long day, but absolutely entertaining and hugely educational. For me, and I go back to the roots of a project that we have in Cambridge, the Cambridge Biomedical Campus. Its foundations for success were really built on collaboration. And it was refreshing to hear that in so many of the sessions today that we heard about how people learn from each other, how people collaborate with each other. 2 heads are better than 1, 1 + 1 = 3. And I think that really resonates strongly throughout the life science sector and all of the business that we're involved in. So that was a really key takeaway for me.
Yeah, great. One of the buzzwords of the day and the threads that's just been consistent is AI. And it's been mentioned on a number of different panels, particularly in the health one. Do you share the same thoughts and sentiments as the discussion that was happening in that section?
Absolutely, an incredible discussion. It's slightly nerve-wracking at times to think that healthcare hasn't changed for an awful long time. We live in a society where medicine and processes in healthcare is kind of a one-size-fits-all process. We're moving, sometimes slowly, sometimes fast, to a world of increasing personalized medicine. And to get that personalized medicine maxed out, which will mean better value, which means we can deploy capital to other sectors in our society, that needs data. That means that if I'm an expert on hip replacements and I'm used to seeing 10, 15, 100 patients a year, I can perhaps dial in to see the results of 3,000 hip replacement operations to predict better outcomes. And I think we are really just at the gateway to that hugely exciting period in healthcare delivery.
For me, it was really exciting, the Formula E. They've had 150 years of not being there, and then all of a sudden they've caught up with Formula One, let's say, or petrol-driven vehicles. The speed of conversion to a new way looks infinitely possible and a lot quicker than it ever used to be. So do you think that holds true for life sciences?
I do, for the wider healthcare sector, Phil. I think we need to overcome issues around privacy and how that data is used. So there may be some additional steps in that process, but it's the sky's the limit, and I think it will ultimately lead us to additionally better health outcomes. But I do think there are other steps that may be more specific and nuanced to the healthcare sector.
Yeah, I completely agree. So I think the one of the points that the back end there, the Bear Grylls talking, never giving up as well. We've got an opportunity to, the hope on the stage was we will cure cancer in 10 years. We just can't give up, can we? We've got to accelerate. We've got to not give up and not be knocked back. We've got to keep going. Any thoughts on that particular comment?
Yeah, well, that's what the foundation for good health is, isn't it? And again, it's that collaborative process. And I think that if a doctor had kind of gone down one avenue and thought, oh, well, I won't try again. I mean, Bear was talking about follow that path. Don't take the path of least resistance. I don't think that's how discoveries happen. You take that more difficult path, don't you?
You do.
You
Absolutely.
do.
Sometimes by accident.
Very good.
Wow.
Thank you.
That sums up the day, really. I've said it before and I'll say it again. It has been incredible, and I hope everyone watching online has experienced and felt the same.
It's been my first Groundbreakers in person.
Yeah, same.
I've loved it. It's been a really fantastic event. I hope you have at home. If you feel like you've missed a session or you want to re-watch, please tune in online. There's plenty to watch back, repeat, share with your friends.
And the best place to find all of that content is at Prologis on LinkedIn. You'll find all of the items that Phil was just talking about, but so much more. You can find Groundbreakers magazine, general business updates, and you might even find a recording of this, who knows?
Not sure that would be the best bit, but let's see.
I do have some bad news.
I'll go on.
So no agents have called. It turns out our career as presenters is not going to move forward, and we're stuck at the day job at Prologis.
Okay, that might not be such a bad thing.
I think we'll be all right.
I think we'll be all right. Yeah.
That's a wrap, Phil.
I think it is. Thank you very much, Frankie. Thank you for your efforts. It's been a pleasure. Thank you for joining us wherever you've watched this event, and I'm very much looking forward to seeing you for Groundbreakers 2025.
Yeah.
Cheerio.
Bye.